I've wanted to make this video for a couple days now, just because I like being right, and if you try to argue with me, I'm better than you, and you're wrong. Remember that. From what I hear, PUBG is essentially suing Fortnite for Fortnite being a ripoff of PUBG. PUBG and Fortnite Battlegrounds are two completely different games from the same genre. Genre being the key word here. Taking an example from another game that I play, League of Legends, and its brother, so to speak, Dota 2. The communities have been at each other's neck for what game is better for quite some time. Instead of looking at which one is considered better, let's look if they're the same game. They're both 5v5 MOBAs with a wide variety of characters and champions to pick from to change the game. Each game has a similar ranking system, playstyles are similar, and characters also have a lot of similarities, taking PUBG and Blitzcrank as prime examples. For one game to be considered suable from the other, they have to be pretty much the same game with minimal effort to change or differentiate itself from the other. This is exactly where we're going to be able to see the differences. League was stemmed from Dota originally, but they removed and added things to fit and change the playstyle of the game. The GB99 video does a great job of explaining this, but here's the simple version. League removed turn times when changing direction of travel, and Dota 2 has a courier system which League doesn't have. The biggest change between the two top dogs of their genre is their art style. In my eyes, Dota 2 has a very saturated, darker look when compared to League of Legends, and in my opinion, the way a game is presented can sometimes set the entire appeal of it. So let's apply all these points to Fortnite and PUBG. Similarities first. They are both third person, originally, battle arena games where the battle area gets reduced over time. They both have a very, and I mean almost identical way of starting the game. You join a pointless lobby where everyone is just trying to be annoying, and then they cram you all in an air transportation device to choose where you start your game. They both have you jump from these transportation devices and skydive down to the ground. They both have buildings and little secret areas where you can get items, and that's pretty much where the similarities end. PUBG is a very realistic game of stealth and tactics where you have to calculate every move as if you were actually in the situation yourself, while Fortnite is a much faster paced, arcade-esque game. In PUBG, you have to find cover to hide behind, whereas in Fortnite, you can make it. And that's one of the major points I wanted to bring up. In PUBG, the landscape is static, meaning that it doesn't change. However, in Fortnite, almost the entire environment is dynamic, meaning that it can change and you can create things. Fortnite has a plethora of traps and other aspects such as launch pads, and there are obvious differences like that, and then there's less obvious ones such as the weapons. I'm not going to point out any specific, like, this one has a 1911 while this one has 9mm, but more the way they're used. In PUBG, they're realistic, they're accurate, and Fortnite uses the bloom system, which is basically RNG straight from a COD player's nightmares. I'm not going to mention the difference of the guns like I said, but that's pretty much just because they're solid arguments either way. That leaves me with the last difference, which is the biggest one that I brought up earlier, art style. PUBG strives for realism, while Fortnite has a more cartoonish, almost cel-shaded approach. I've even compared the look of Fortnite to Borderlands. Would you be able to compare PUBG to Borderlands art-wise? No. I mean, look at the side-by-side. Do they look the same? My point is, both games can exist, and that's okay. Thanks for listening to my little rant. I truly, personally, am really enjoying Fortnite. I may go back to PUBG. I mean, I never really played a lot of PUBG. I just couldn't really get into it. But for me, the art style of Fortnite is a lot more appealing to me, and I think I'm gonna stick with it as long as the game doesn't get shut down. But PUBG is still a great game. Thank you for listening.